Let's call the meeting to order
Yeah.
of Tuesday, April 15, 7:30. Roll call, please.
Cato? Desart? Here. Eckhoff?
Here.
Garcia?
Here.
Krajewski?
Here.
Rutledge?
Here.
Okay, we have a forum. Move on. Do we have anybody sign up for public comment?
No public.
Chairman remarks is that we have the gala coming up next Friday. It's now at the Oak Brook Hill, or no, the Oak Brook Marriott, 22nd Street. Laura may say something about that a little later on her report. Informational, no, minutes, approval of our minutes. Can I get a motion for February 18th? Any questions, comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. I'll get a motion for our grant FIR 006925.
So moved. Second.
Okay, any questions, comments on this one? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. If we can get a motion for a budget transfer 251024.
So moved. Second.
Okay, any questions or comments on this one? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that passes. And then lastly, we do the motion for 251022.
So moved. Second.
Questions, comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. I'll turn it over to Laura for our discussion on our county base.
Yeah, so we have that beautiful new community room, and we've been thinking about different ways that we can use that room, not just for helping revenue for operations, but our other educational events. And there was a lot of interest in hosting birthday parties, or maybe, you know, even you said like, hey, I've got a group that might want to come in and host a meeting in there. So we wanted to formalize what that fee structure looks like, what that process would look like for booking. We've had inquiries about bringing in catering, beverages, so which then opened up to a broader conversation about other properties on campus. So State's Attorney's Office, Jason, and a couple other people started putting this suggested ordinance in place. And so this is our opportunity just to present it to you guys. It will be going formally to Public Works and then to County Board.
So what does it look like? What have they said?
Yeah,
Are we allowed to serve alcohol? Are we allowed to be catering?
Oh, yeah, speaking of alcohol, I was just reading it.
Yeah,
Who's the
there's a-
person at the county facilities department that approves this?
so I believe that's to.
But me by title.
Okay,
Hey, Brian, that is subject to, that is wherever the board wants to put it.
well, I just
That's-
read it
that's-
here, it just
That's
says,
just a staff suggestion. We've been doing it for longer than I've been here. For the auditorium, for outside events, we coordinate with the Fair
do
Association.
we allow the alcohol to come on there then goes?
We have never, this
Oh.
would open that door.
But you approve something else that goes there?
I can get it. So Tim. and
It just, I was just
facilities
reading, it says
management,
alcohol beverages shall be served or not served or consumed without prior written approval.
And up to this point, we have not allowed alcohol on our facility. The only exception to the rule would be the health department over in the Linda Kurzweil Center. They've had it, but they're a separate entity. But
For what?
they've had some events over there. They've had some events over there. So this would be in line, like when the Fair Association wants to do something on our campus. Our process is to go through facilities. Tim signs off on it. If something rises higher, then he'll go to the chair and ask that. So this would be in line with that. And if there's something that's questionable, he will elevate it beyond the facilities.
No, that's fine.
But I was asking more about the rules. I don't know if we have to go through Wheaton's alcohol commission or whatever it's called.
Thank you.
Because I do know that, you know, the DuPage Historical Museum just had an event, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago. And we were allowed to serve alcohol there, but that's because we used bartenders from Arrowhead, which is part of the Wheaton Park District.
So,
So we used the Arrowhead restaurant.
yeah, liquor license, they used their pour license for
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
So very good question. We've actually talked with the corporate counsel of Wheaton. If it is a private event for a specific thing, there's no additional liquor license that's going to be required. So they're okay with that. But from us, the ordinance itself doesn't describe some of that. That'll be the contract. That'll be between the county and that. In there will require a grandma shop, some
So
insurance.
the county and that.
County and that entity
The
who's looking
entity, okay,
to
thank you.
use the, yes, sorry,
Gotcha.
that's using the facility.
Okay.
That will be, they'll have the insurance requirements, and as well, we'll have a Bassett, you have to have a Bassett certified individual serving said alcohol. And trying to think if there's any other little nuances that were put in there.
The,
Being
drafted, so.
Yeah, we're in the process of firming up those details to make sure our insurance is
I assume
comfortable.
Bassett means.
Bassett is the,
Alcohol.
it's the certification of serving alcohol.
And when they cut somebody off,
basically. Nope.
Gotcha, gotcha.
So the one thing I will say is our staff will never be allowed to serve. And you have to have whoever's serving has to have dram shop insurance, which is the main insurance for alcohol serving to protect us from liability.
is there any more talk about the de-annexation of this property?
So you're talking about with Wheaton, and we're actually doing it with Winfield as well. They have given us authority, not de-annexation. That the first step was basically permitting authority. So we have our own authority on our property here, but it's not de-annexed. We're going through the same thing with Winfield now for the little portion of our property on Winfield. It's one of those that kind of first step of maybe considering de-annexation. But for right
I mean,
now,
if that happens, then we're under our county rules for
If-
liquor.
if we officially de-annex, then we'd be under it, but we are not at the de-annexation point.
So we're in a process of, what'd you call
So it's a hybrid.
it? Okay,
They
so hybrid, so if it's hybrid, we're still sort of governed by their rules?
Sort of governed by them.
Right.
But
that's-
luckily, again, their
they're
corporate
very-
counsel has indicated to us,
No,
they're not
okay.
giving a liquor license at this time. So we're good in that sense. We don't have to do
But I
additional.
just wondered whose rules is applying, because I know we were looking, there was
Technically,
talk
no.
about de-annexing, so.
I have one more question. That is, if the county ourselves had a function there, number one, it would be free. Number two, we could bring a catering. I'm thinking about like, remember the beautiful retirement party for Cheryl? And we had it over somewhere
Yeah.
else. We could actually have it on our own property, right?
Technically, the answer is yes to that. We would have to look at the technicality though of
Serving
how, yeah. We could do it through a third party. Yeah, we, that was not a county
just-
sponsored thing. That was just staff put it, that was a private event.
Oh, gotcha.
So that's why it was a private event hosted by, it just happened to be, a lot of county employees were invited. But so it was a private event. If a private individual wanted to do something like that, yes, hypothetically, that would work under this.
So
But
the county can't have events over there.
the county itself would probably not be the sponsor of said event. No.
But at least we'd have to have an outside server.
Correct, yeah, at the very least, we'd cater it and do that, but, I would have to double check on the insurance end of that. They're comfortable with it if we're having a third party for somebody else that we're getting an agreement with. I didn't ask them specifically about us doing.
Okay, now my concern is a little off the topic of what's been talked about already, is that when you have a children's party, and I know if I've had children's party at my house and the noise is overwhelming, how is that going to affect the animals that are in the shelter?
That's a great question. Yeah, because we actually, we do host Girl Scout troops, for example.
Okay.
Yesterday, we had a Girl Scout troop that came to the shelter for a program at 5 o'clock, and I heard the squeals in the lobby when they saw the kitties.
Yeah.
So our educator is really great about talking to the event, whether it's Girl Scout troop leaders or if it's a parent that wants to host a birthday party, about kind of like using inside voices. She's really great about that. We have block walls in our rooms. I mean, like, it's actually not too bad. Once we close the doors, you really can't hear it as much. We did just move the dogs into the new dog adoption room, which is directly across the hall from the community
I
room.
thought so.
And
I remember the tour.
it was a little interesting because when we moved those dogs into that room and it was new, and so there was a lot of barking, and we're like, oh my goodness, this is gonna be loud. But then we closed the doors and they did settle down and it was fine. I think for animals too, some of it is a visual thing. So
Okay.
as we kind of settle into the space, I've already been brainstorming. Maybe I'm gonna get some curtains that go over those windows for quiet time, if it's an evening event. Because, we had some people doing some stuff in the community room on Sunday, and the first thing they do is they go to the dog adoption windows and just sit there and start staring at them,
Yeah.
and it gets them all worked up. So,
I don't want to stress the dog.
yeah,
out
I
any
think
more than they are.
we're gonna have some good strategies in place to make sure that
Okay.
it's not so stressful for them.
That
But,
I'm okay with.
but crowd management with little kids is definitely a thing.
Oh, yes, it is.
How would you know, with our rescue partners, and I know some of our rescue partners, because it's DuPage County, and we have everything here, and so they don't necessarily always want to help us with pulling animals or taking animals. Do we have the ability to have them, if they're our rescue partners, if they do with it, to use the event room for no cost for their own adoption events, if they're one of our rescue partners that will pull animals from us?
Yeah, I think we have the
Because
ability,
are we
just like,
doing more or less now of that? I mean, some of these rescues that used to pull from us, because we built the foster program, but they all look at us and Cook has nothing. They don't
Yeah.
have a facility, so.
so I hear two questions there. The first being like, could we waive fees for particular groups?
That
And
work with us if they're under
And
A, B, and
that's-
C.
yeah, and we have language in our ordinance that allows us to waive or reduce any of our fees, as long as we're recording that appropriately in our computer system. Second, are we, seeing an increase, decrease, or steady pull from rescue partners? I would say it's been about the same as it has been the last couple of years. There's a lot of pressure on Chicago right now, and so a lot of our rescue partners have been going to Chicago. And I think the other challenge we're seeing, especially coming out of the pandemic, is, you know, a lot of these dogs are tough dogs, like just no basics training, manners, just basic manners training. And rescues can pull up puppies from down south, which is much easier for them to move compared to taking, you know, what we tend to see as Chicago dogs, our bully breeds, you know, that age 2 to 3, that is a little bit harder to place, or the larger breed dogs. So, yeah, so it's been a little, I think it's steady since we saw that decline coming out of the pandemic.
Other questions on this? But, Jill?
I just looked at the hourly rates.
Mhm.
And I thought, man, if I was gonna do something over there, it's probably going to be beyond an hour. I would probably, for the hassle, an hour-long event would be, I'd probably do a 2 or a 3 hour minimum, or, 'cause that's a lot for somebody to just come in for an hour and be out, and so that was my only thought as I was reading through all of that. Yeah, that's a lot. I mean, you're
You're
gonna
saying
need
the-
2 hours for those events anyway.
You're saying the price is high?
No,
Or you're
no,
saying-
it wasn't a comment on the price.
Oh,
I just think a 1 hour,
put a minimum on there.
yeah, you should probably step it up to 2 or even 3.
Yeah.
Cause that's a lot of hassle for an hour.
I hear you, yeah.
And of course, you can make an exception to that. But if you're putting it out to the public and you're enticing them to rent space, that was, I thought the rest was pretty well thought out.
Because everybody looks at DuPage and stuff, and we use that as a training, so the others here to put your training stuff on. Where did you do the police one?
We did the police training in that room.
Did you? Okay, how'd that go?
It was phenomenal. So we had, would say 55 representatives from our DuPage County and a little bit of Cook and Will police departments. We had great representation from the Forest Preserve District, because their rangers frequently are bringing in animals that are found in forest preserves or tied up. And we presented all-day content ranging from, we had IDNR out, we had our local feral cat trap, neuter, and release group out, our own officers presented, and then at the end, we were able to provide field service kits for everybody. The Chicagoland Humane Coalition donated microchip scanners, which is a really great
Nice.
value. And then out of our department budget, we funded top loading larger cat carriers, some towels, some slip leads, and other things for when they find animals out in the field. So
Great.
but that was a great space to do that in. We learned a lot just using the AV for the first time and how to set up the room.
Who's our liaison to Suzette, the exec director? Maybe Jeremy reach out to her and just, maybe they can hold one of their mayor's managers monthly events there, so we can show off the mayors to.
Yeah.
try
That'd be
to-
fun,
idea.
yeah.
Because sometimes, you know, they're not, I don't think they just let their staff decide what they're doing or what they're not doing with us. You know, we've had some issues with police departments and how the animals are brought here, but clearly I don't even think their board knows or the mayors know, but I think just try to let them know. And I think, who's the new, is it the Elmer's mayor, the new?
I think they just,
Be the new president?
Roselle, mayor.
I think Scott was last time.
Okay.
Scott was last term and stayed with the second.
But I think she was looking to bring in one of the mayors to the event Friday night, which is good.
Okay, yeah. I know Suzette's been a big animal
But
advocate.
she volunteers over West Suburban, but yeah, I just, but to try to let, see if they hold an event there, just so they can see what we do.
Laura, how many people were there at the training? How many people does that room fit, I guess I'm asking?
Oh, we had a total of 60, I think with staff, it was 65
100?
people.
125,
Yeah,
is that
it's 70 sorry, if you don't mind,
Sure,
I'm taking
thank
a peek here. Side A and B capacity is 75 people. If we do side B in the patio, so this is in the ordinance here too, it's 80 people. If we did all three spaces with nice weather, it's 110 people. Part of that is based on access to washrooms.
Yeah.
It's not just the physical space itself. So which washrooms are we making available for our attendees to have access to? If we exceeded this, my understanding is we'd have to bring in some portable
Okay.
work plans or something.
Is there
So-
a kitchen oven, if they're catering, any
Yeah.
facility that could stage that, I guess?
So we don't have a full kitchen
Yeah.
or like with an oven and a stovetop, but we do have refrigerators, freezers, microwaves. We put a transaction window out in that real life room. So that's a nice way to kind of do some past stuff
Okay,
if we've got stuff happening out on the patio. And there's no reason why we couldn't maybe like stage stuff in that room as well, since that's not a place where animals are living.
curious, yeah.
But we would not be preparing food.
No, right.
Pardon me, preparing food on the property, no.
That's all right. Any other questions on that? Move on to administrative update?
So, speaking of new building, we are looking to have our final inspection here in the next week or so. Plumbers were installing the final sinks in the medical clinic, cabinets and countertops going in. We're in the process of renovating all the older dog kennel rooms. So we're kind of doing this leapfrog thing where we're moving dogs as they come in, to remove all the hardware for power washing. We're reapplying new epoxy paint, fixing a lot of the hardware that was broken. So those are starting to look really nice. Today starts the installation of some of our signage, and I'm very excited about the photo mural that's going up in that lobby. That's gonna add a great touch to the building. We are looking to host a open house, like a grand opening on June 14th. Still finalizing some of those details. We had previously communicated it might be June 7th, but there's quite a few important people that are going to be out of town, so we're going to push it to the 14th, I think.
Okay, who's these important people?
Yeah.
Because last time we were doing it on Tuesday, so the whole county board could go.
Well, this is
And I
a
think the
Saturday.
community, well, I know, but that's why, well, first conversation was we're gonna do it on Tuesday, so the county board members could go, and I was like, well, we want to show it off to the communities, we'll do it on the weekend. when they can
Yeah,
come.
yeah.
Plus, most of the county board don't come to ribbon cuttings anyways. But, so who are our important people?
Well, we
Is
wanted
it
to
the
make,
chair?
we,
You, Brian.
well, DuPage Animal Friends, so.
No, we had a big meeting here where
Max
we
was,
had
Max is gonna be out of
Joan and
town.
Nick and Con.
Yeah.
Max is gonna be on that count?
Max
two.
was gonna,
I
from
assume
DuPage
you-
Animal Friends was gonna be out of town, so you guys are going on
Go together.
vacation.
Vegas.
Yeah.
Did.
Have we
Anyway,
communicated to you yet for the chair?
You and I have communicated over this before, and the chair is in town both weekends, as
14th,
far as I'm
okay.
concerned.
All right, okay.
I will check with her again today.
that, it's
Here.
flexible,
No, but.
We are
Thank-
nothing but flexible.
yes.
Okay. We had a big round table here.
I wouldn't have
Everybody
been able
picking
to
the,
attend on the
picking
seventh.
day.
See, Sheila was not able to attend on the 7th, but
That's
she
fine.
can attend on the
Four
14th.
dogs in, I'm good.
I love it, okay.
I may be in California, but okay,
Okay,
so that's fine.
okay, well, then we can
No,
move.
no, 14's fine.
I don't know, I
I'll zoom
really
in.
just like going to animal services things because we always end up with another.
I was gonna say, we love it when you come.
Okay,
Our shelter population's hovering around 120-ish animals, still getting a lot of stray dogs in, that are not getting reclaimed, which is disappointing. I have a couple court case animals right now, but we are already starting to see an uptick in cats. Feral Fixers started their season a little early with us. We were
who do we
seeing,
have, what doctor we have for that now?
we have Dr. Turner. He's
Yeah, he's
back
back
again
again,
this year. Yeah. We've had a lot of pregnant females already coming through, so I don't know if that's foreshadowing what's to come for this season, but when we do kind of get in the thick of kitten season, that's when we start to see our population numbers really kind of stay over 200. So we're preparing for that.
Speaking of the van that we do the search, are you gonna bring it out Friday to the Oprah?
I don't know yet.
Oh,
There's only a handful of us that can drive it. Me, myself, yeah, we'll see.
Nick, haven't
It's
seen you
probably
out?
not.
What? Nick, haven't seen you out?
Well, you know,
Yet I don't.
Jeremy's in charge of animal services, so as the administrator, so I think he should learn how to drive it.
Maybe you guys can come to my office, pick all that out.
Yeah, well, I can't transfer alcohol in a county vehicle, so. This week happens to be Animal Services Appreciation Week, so we have our all-staff meeting planned for this Thursday, so we're gonna have some fun at that meeting. Just, I really want to make sure the staff knows how much we appreciate all their hard work and how flexible they have been throughout this last year plus. I usually do, yeah. So, and then this Saturday, just a reminder, is also our Volunteer Appreciation Open House. It is the Saturday, the 19th from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. It's the Saturday from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. It is open house style, unlike prior years where we've done more of like a sit-down meal. We knew that volunteers were going to be excited to do more tours through the building, and so we're doing it in our own community room, and that will be from 3 to 6. We have a lot going on, so keep your pens out. So the 25th, we know is the Raise the Roof Gala. It has been moved to the Chicago Marriott Oak Brook, which is on 22nd Street, right across from shopping center. It's actually a nicer venue than we were at before. Like the decor of the room is really great. The lobby area is a little bit larger for check-in. So while it was a little stressful going through that move, we are excited to be in that space. April 28th, DuPage Animal Friends is doing a Panera Glen Ellen Dine Out Night. So proceeds from any dining happening at that Panera location are benefiting our shelter animals. And then May 1st is Giving DuPage Days, which is now a one-day event.
Sorry, May 1st, you said?
May 1st, yep. And for those of you that follow our weekly post with our shelter population and our adoption photos, and we always have that little logo in the corner that says DuPage Saves, and it's got either like the bunny pictures or the cats. That's kind of what our visuals look like for this upcoming campaign. It's something that's super recognizable. So DuPage Animal Friends is working.
You know, is that one day event, is it just the one day, or like last year it was down to 3 days, but you could start giving donations a week plus ahead of time?
So it is just one day. The portal for donating through the Giving DuPage Days portal is only on May 1st.
Because last year it was 3 days, but yet it was
Correct.
open, the portal was open prior to the.
Right.
Okay, so it's just the one
They
day.
did change some things though, based on some feedback they got from
Well, and that's
other
gonna be 12 hours.
organizations. Because normally DuPage Animal Friends is looking for match donations leading up to the event.
Right.
And they weren't letting organizations get match donations through their own online giving portals. That has now changed. So now it sounds like we're allowed to do that and then just report them into the system. So, so they're trying to be flexible with kind of understanding that few of us have been through this before and have
Well,
some
yeah,
processes.
it's weird,
that
to only
work.
do one day, it seems like the longer you have it open, the more, because they raised less money last year than the time before.
Yeah.
So what's the match thing now? You can,
So now they're letting us,
so we could get a match prior to?
we can now get matches prior, because then what we do is we open up those matches on May 1st to help motivate people,
So it's
inspire
just-
them.
Just doing it
to
during the day, so at the beginning you do I got 1,000 and I do 3,000.
Right.
So you get the
So,
match. Okay.
Yeah, I know you're gonna start seeing some communication from DuPage Animal Friends to start looking for match donations to come through so they can apply those to that
Okay.
May 1st campaign, so. Any questions for me?
You got lots of.
We have a lot going on right now, yes.
Any other old business, any new business? Motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
All in favor, aye.
Uh,
Thank you, Laura.